This episode is brought to you by High Point Market. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise.
Today on the Design Dash podcast, we are catching up with Design Dash Mastermind alumni, Mike and Bryan Yates, the endlessly creative duo and operationally skilled duo behind Yates Design. So if you know Mike and Bryan, and if you don't, you need to, because they bring cheeky humor, bold talent, and serious design chops to everything they touch. Partners in life and business, they founded Yates Design after a chance encounter at a Manhattan party. So we're going to need to hear about that. And that is proof that sometimes the best design stories start with a little serendipity. Since then, they've become one of Dallas's most sought after design firms. Yes, I said it. I know this was up in the air. If you want me to say that, they didn't, but I'm saying it anyway because it's true. Known for crafting spaces that are stylish, livable, and deeply personal. And their portfolio includes national recognition, a standout space, their first, I think, at Kips Bay, at a decorator show house for Kips Bay. And it sounds like there may be more to that. And they have their own wall covering collection, Ever by Yates. Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us, Bryan and Mike. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. We're super excited.
Good to see you. Speaking of excited, and I want to ask you definitely about your new office because we're thinking about updating our office space. We'll ask that later. What is really firing you up this year? We haven't talked in a while or talked face to face. I want to know what's exciting in 2025 for you guys.
Well, I mean, for us, we did just move into a new office space. It'll be a year in October that we've been fully there. But, you know, we kept our overhead so low for so long, and we had a small space that didn't have as much natural light where
I think it was like 500 square feet, right?
Yeah. It was
now you guys are 3,500 square feet.
We are. You know, for us, we were able to save for a long time to really figure out where we wanted to take our studio. And we finally found a space that we absolutely loved. It kind of felt very meant to be when we were in the search. And we wanted to create a space that was an experiential studio that our clients can come and really understand the nuances of what we do and what we like to achieve as far as the environment or the details or the lighting, and really kind of showcase that. And so for us, that was just really important to invest in that, which we've gotten some really great feedback and outcome from it. So
it was great.
And so our listeners are primarily design business owners. And so going from 500 square feet to 3,500 square feet, I think it would really help to give some context. Like, how long have you been in business? How long were you in a smaller space? And when did you feel, I guess, what was that lever or that trigger point that you're like, okay, we're ready?
Yeah, we started our business in 2016.
Okay.
And we were working out of our home for probably 2 or 3 years. 3 years?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, about 3 years. And on the third year of starting, we moved in with a builder at the time. We had a really good relationship. And then COVID hit. So that we were there for a little over a year and kind of threw everything up. The builder got out of their lease for whatever reasons and basically said, you have 30 days.
Surprise.
A month before that, Bryan had lunch with another designer, and she had just mentioned, well, if you're ever looking for a space, let me know. And so when that happened, we gave her a call. And of course, with COVID, she was like, please come on in. She had space for us. And so it's actually 1,500 square feet, but there were 3 design firms within that. So one had an office. We all shared the conference room area, which was in the middle of everything. And then the other designer had most of the space, and we had a little corner in the back.
Yeah.
And it was just the 3 of us at the time. Was our lead designer and the 2 of us who I just hired at COVID. So that was fun. And then from there, we started to grow. we were there for a good
4 years.
4 years, and they started to grow, we started to grow, and it just was getting too much.
Yeah.
And so it was the right time. We definitely always believe like the universe tells you what's next and sometimes pushes you into what you might not be ready for, but we are the type to jump. And so we went searching for spaces, and we saw a lot of spaces, and it just kind of, when we walked in, we were like, this is the one. It's actually a storage unit for of the building. It was concrete floors, brick walls, and open, what is that, ceiling?
Yeah.
Sounds inspiring.
Yeah, and we
found this storage space and just knew we had to have it.
Yeah.
It just felt right. We just walked in and we had the vision of like what it could be and how we work and how we could functionally program it to maximize our space. And we had to do everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was like building a whole new house,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. So Bryan kind of jumped right in like he does, designs a phenomenal, beautiful space.
Yeah.
Of course we get the bill, and I was like, sorry, we can't do that. But I think with the value engineering process, one, it gives us the ability to chat with our clients about it. Like, we go through it too, and we understand, but what we came out with is still beautiful, and we still love it. I think for me, a lot of it is the natural light is key. We didn't have any of that before, but
Totally.
when our team walks in, they're very proud to be in that space.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
think
sure that
that's
makes a huge
so
difference.
huge for us.
And
They
Melissa
love
will
coming
tell
to
you,
work.
we've been looking for a new space.
Yeah.
And we just, because we're outgrowing where we are. And man, I just love our current office.
I do too. I mean,
Yeah.
the number one thing is natural light. I don't know how you
Yes,
can present to
always.
clients or be in a lot of the places that we've seen, the meeting rooms have zero windows, or they're like in the back, or they're very cramped. And where we are now, there's natural light on 3 corners of the office. We're in our own space, and it's expensive. But after touring all these other places and then entering our office, it's like, oh, okay, this is it.
Yeah, we're having a hard damn time finding something that we like.
It is a challenge. I mean, we did invest in putting Lutron lighting and working with Ketra into our conference room.
Oh, I love that.
And
That's
so
smart.
we're able to showcase to our clients the circadian rhythm from sunrise to sunset. And so we're really able to kind of create that environment during presentation to show exactly what it's going to look like. And I will say, by investing that into our office has helped to sell that quite a bit now.
I know, I was going to say, I bet clients are like, circadian rhythm sold.
Yeah. The husbands always love it.
Yeah. Also, it gives us the ability to show them the light in a different state.
Yeah.
It's GPS
Oh, true.
coordinated, so it takes a little bit of extra like scheduling for that, but we punch in some coordinates, and it goes to what the light level is at that time.
That is so technical.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So it gets
Do you
really
have like an
techy.
AV company that's coming in every time you present? You're like, beep, beep, beep. Okay, done.
No,
but we did work with Bravo.
That was me punching buttons if you're just
which we
listening
use
in
a lot. So
we've tried to
Okay.
set it up in a way that I have a system of 8 buttons that I can mainly get through.
Okay, choice
I
of
need to
8.
get-
That's fine.
we're like, don't touch anything else. It's
Yeah.
just the 8.
Yeah, if I need to get crazy, I can, but I try not to.
It's just one of these 8, not a combination. Just choose
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, our vendors have really helped us out a bunch. We did, I will say, work with your vendors. I think for the designers out there, we've built relationships for the past 9 years, and we didn't get stuff for free, so it wasn't like all about that, but we definitely got some
Considerations.
opportunities and some considerations, and
It's to help.
yeah, and it's not only we do create the relationships for that, like it's really about just caring, and sometimes we're not even on a project and we're giving their recommendations out. So
But we have found that, by using that as a talking point to our clients, we brought in Bravis for the lighting. These are people we recommend. We've used them for ourselves. Here's why we use I think when we first started our company, we really thought, of using everyone and everyone's welcome. And, we've kind of gotten to the mentality now where it's like, it's not about, the masses, it's about the quality and who and what people bring to the table. And how we know that they're going to be reliable and they're going to have our back just as much as we have their back. And to us, I think that that's really important. So for potential clients or presenting projects and stuff, it really is the ability to have that conversation candidly with them and say, hey, here's why we did what we did, and here's why we brought in who we brought in.
Yeah, I think that trust is we talk about this all the time, but that trust is so central to everything that we do, trust with your vendors. And I think that when your clients see that, yeah, you are reliable and you have these kinds of wonderful relationships with other people, that builds trust with the clients as well.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And I think also something you're saying is making me think about like doing my own projects, and the experience I have doing my own projects has really influenced how I'm able to speak to clients. Because you said earlier, like we did value engineer for ourselves because we had to, and that gives you that new perspective for your clients too. So have you done your own like personal renovations? I feel like you have your homes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you feel like that's just given you a different outlook? Like you're really seeing it from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's what adds value. I mean, doing Kips Bay in 21 and then also doing the office, um, you know, it really does give the perspective of what clients go through because, everyone always thinks that, oh, we just push, push, push. And that's not really the case. I mean, it really is doing what's right for the client. And sometimes what's right for the client and based on what they're saying is spending more money, right? Is doing the things that maybe they didn't think about. And, that just brings up a conversation on why we're doing what we're doing and guiding them along the way. And there's a lot of times that we'll pause and say, hey, what you're saying is X when what you told us earlier is, a different story. And let's talk about this a little bit further.
Go back to the original why.
Yeah, let's go back to the why, because why is always really what is the driving force behind everything that we do. But, being that we have been able to do our own projects, I think it really is a good talking point to say, hey, we did try to achieve this. We had to rein it in a little bit because of cost, but we were still able to maybe think outside the box just a little bit more and achieve what we're looking for. And we do that for you too. Every potential client that we're talking to before signing a contract with, we always discuss the fact of, hey, we're not going to do anything that we wouldn't do in our personal house that we would do for you. So we treat your project as if we're doing our own projects, and these projects are our babies, and we're here to guide and educate you along every path that we're going until we're out of your house completely.
Yeah. I think the other side of it is also the emotional journey that you go through, right?
Oh, yes. We talk about that all the time. Not
necessarily the financial. That's obviously
the pit of despair.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you get excited, it's happening, and then you get the bill and you're like, what the hell? And you're like, oh my God, we're starting. That's really great. And then like, why is this taking so long? And then you're like, I got the keys, I'm in. Yay. Wait, all of this punch list has to keep going and happening. So we have felt it. We've been there. We kind of remind them. I talk about it early on. Even in the intro call, when we're just meeting a client for the first time, I talk about money. I talk about budget. I talk about the emotional roller coaster they're about to go on. We're here.
We talk about the pinch point where they get upset. We were really blessed. Maybe it was two years ago now, that Toyota, Lexus of North America have a mentorship program that is through the GLBT Chamber of Commerce here in Dallas. And you apply and you get accepted through this series of, video and essays and all this other stuff that you do. And then you're paired up with 2 mentors for an entire year, like VP executive mentors. And what we did is really went through every part of the process of what we do And we created a roadmap to showcase to our client these start stop points that go through, so that they really understand, okay, here's the hill that you're going to go on, and this is when you're going to feel it. But know that this is why you're going to feel it, and this is what we're going to do to help that. So they kind of understand what that journey looks like from start to stop. And I feel like that just has been very helpful. To just
We
set
do
the
something
expectation.
similar, actually. And I think like what I love about that idea of the map is that at any point in your process, in the process of a build, for example, they're feeling that pain. You can come back to the map and say, hey, remember when we talked about
Yeah,
this?
we're right
You
here.
are here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
exactly.
And you are going to get out of it. I promise. This is where we're going. So we talk
Yeah.
about that all the time. And I love that you guys do that. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I say we get to the part where you get the number, and 10 out of 10 times you're gonna be frustrated because it's
Yeah.
a number you may not want to invest, but that's not the end of the journey.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're
So-
guiding them through the whole thing. And I feel like that's the biggest part of what we do as
Yeah.
designers too, is we, in our office, we call it the guided design experience. And it really is like, we're here to guide them. We do this all day, every day.
Yeah.
But I think what's important, and what I feel like doesn't happen all the time, is, we get set in our ways of what our path is. And sometimes you're so inundated in it that you're not looking from an outside perspective. And I think it's really important to always continue to push yourself in business, to rethink how you're doing something. And just because you've done it for so long doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. And so we're constantly trying to figure out, what's working, what's not working, how can we develop this better, even bringing in our team to like workshop things, because just having a different perspective sometimes is just very crucial. And so we're always on that thirst of like, how can we just be a better and create a better process for our clients, right?
Yeah. I think that's why I admire your firm so much. You approach things so thoughtfully, and you mentioned your team a little bit. I know that you've grown pretty intentionally. I think in the beginning you said that it was just you two and another designer. Where are you now with your team?
Now we have a total of 6, including the 2 of us. 2 technical designers, I would call them more so, in the sense of drawings, and then 2 designers that assist Bryan. One is our team lead, Georgina. She's been with us for
almost 4 years now.
4 years, yeah. And she's phenomenal and great. Loves color, which like pushes Bryan a little bit. I think she gets him. She gets him a lot. So like they kind of play off each other, and it's really great. We just hired a wonderful designer named Macy right out of college, but she just, when they just have that eye, and then they just get it, and then it's just hardworking, and it's just about getting them onto your page.
Yeah, because you can train that if you have that foundation. Totally.
Yeah.
So she just
she was with us as an intern, and then we brought her on after graduation. And then we have Andrew, who actually is a trained architect, undergrad and graduate school, but is interested in kind of understanding all around architecture and interiors. And so we hired him on. That brings a lot of value. And then Mariana is our newest hire, who again has a lot of technical background in construction. And so, weaving all of the team into the mix. And really, for us, it really is not just about us in the design firm. It is about all of us. And as a collective, we are all working on every single project. And we let our clients know that, when we're featured in a publication, we let them know that. It is not just one person that is working on the project. It is a team.
Yeah.
How do you know that they're the right person?
If you're a designer, then you know that High Point is the epicenter for all things interior design. All your favorite furniture vendors are there, your favorite designers, manufacturers, tastemakers, trendsetters. Market happens every April and October, and we hope you'll register and attend. We're there each market, and we're always finding something new. We know you will too. Check out highpointmarket.org for more information.
So
tricky.
a little bit in 2023, I'm going to share this. at the time was one of our best years. But at the same time was the worst morale in the office.
Oh,
We
wow.
lost 2 people.
We lost 2 people.
One person was with us for 4 years. And then the other person was with us for maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, both phenomenal designers. But honestly, we just didn't have it together. Like, we had grown to 6 people and we weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
We had the workload.
Yeah.
We had our biggest financial year that we ever had. And
we just coming apart at the seams.
Yeah, exactly. And
sounds like I've been there maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's part of why, the Dash network and all that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
but it's for us, that was a moment to really capitalize. And the designer that was with us for 4 years had an exit interview with a business business dev guy that I love. And she didn't hold back, and we loved it.
She also wasn't mean.
No, she's not mean.
Great. She just was very honest, which we appreciate.
Yes.
And we were able to take that information, work with the team that stayed on, kind of acknowledge like, hey, this is not working. And we're going to work together to kind of build it better. And it took some time. It took some implementation.
About a year.
And then
yeah,
now things are flowing and going again. It's back on processes and implementations and follow-ups. I will say we did try Basecamp. Didn't work.
You got to go all in on that.
I know.
Actually, that's a good point. So Mike just pointed a finger at Bryan and as the non-adopter of Basecamp. So you talked about your creative team. So you've got a solid creative team.
Yeah.
But you're not talking about your operations team or your back office team. And I want to know if that's because you don't have one. Is it because the two of you come as a package, operation and creative? Is that why you don't have that like bigger operations team? Or do you? And it's just like outsourced.
I will say we brought in an operations manager and she was with us a year. It wasn't necessarily a fit. We did take a chance. Her background was more in fashion, but the logistics from start to finish of a product. And it wasn't, she was fantastic, but I think it was the understanding of how, interior design does not have a straightforward point of view, right? We are on a pogo stick jumping all the time, and it is across the board in the industry. And I think that just took a little bit of understanding and figuring it out. But it just wasn't the right fit for us. Right now, Mike is doing that, but we are working to try to figure that out better. Where we are bringing in the design team a little bit more to work with operations, because I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be this black and white divide between you are creative and the business side of it. And so we have really discussed bringing everyone into the business side a little bit more. We are pretty transparent with a ton of what we do in the business. But for us, I think it's important if a designer is speccing out something, we want them to follow that all the way through and to understand that, hey, we need all of these selections to be really understood and selected before it gets ordered, because, one SKU could have, or one piece could have millions of SKUs to it, and sometimes people don't really realize that. And so for us, we've kind of, we're teaching everyone, even Andrew, who has more of an architecture background, we're teaching him to understand what we're needing when ordering furniture and tracking the furniture and having everyone just be a part of that process a little bit more.
Yeah. I literally handed him the stack and I said, do all these orders. And then I came back at it like 2 hours and I was like, so what questions do you have? And he was like, no. And it's a lot. I remember the first time I went to order something and Bryan was like, order this sofa. And I'm like, okay, great. And I like click, click, click. Wait, what's the wood color or the species? Or then the fabric, and do I order the fabric first, or do I need to order the sofa first, even though I don't have the fabric yet? And then are we doing any kind of trim or any kind of fringe or any
Do I
kind of
need a
like,
cutting
wait,
for approval?
yeah, wait, the pillows are different than the cushions, and but we're also adding more. I was like,
But
I had just started, and I was like, I don't understand this. What's going on?
But that also brings up the point of then we have that conversation to the clients on, it's not like you're going to a box store online and just selecting a fabric and just the piece, right? So, by having everyone really fully understand that and dissect what that process is, which we kind of feel like it's a bit of a boot camp, then we can better explain to a client what that process is going to be like and why, we're not ordering that sofa like right away, once we get your money. It takes a 2-week period before that even gets placed. And so it is important not to have that divide, I think.
Yeah. So there is me as the operations person. What we've done in the past after that 2023 is we really looked at our function chart, which is different than an organizational chart. And it really just puts all of the functions of the business onto a graphic representation. And then you place people's faces where they're in charge of it. And you have basically the idea person, the execution person, design, accounting, and then marketing and PR, right? Like, and then it
breaks up everything,
and then it breaks down into everything else. And that just really helped us understand what we were kind of missing, what we needed help in, and then could we put people elsewhere? It also shows where Bryan's overworked or I'm overworked. Can we get other people in there? Do we have to hire a person, or can we outsource that information? It all kind of dwindles down. And it also gave us the ability to show our designers and our team the pathway that they can have in our firm to go from a junior designer through to senior designer and how to get there.
Yeah, it shows, okay, out of everything in the firm, you're doing this.
Yep.
When we have all of this. So it's
I think that's actually a really good point about transparency too, is because you've got this visual, and designers are so visual, and you're showing like your functional accountability chart. This is where Bryan sits. This is where Mike sits. Here's where everybody else sits. But all of these things interact. And design is not successful in a vacuum. You've got to have operations, you've got to have marketing, and there's a reason for all of these things. So even aside from just their path within the firm, it's also, I think, been helpful for us. And we talk about it often with our team. Everybody here has a role. Because I think it's easy for design to be like, well, we're producing the creative, we're selling, we're client facing, we're doing all these things, and that takes precedence over everything else. But it's part of it. It's not the whole picture.
It also helps with, then they ask about money situations and salaries and stuff. We share that information. Salaries are the largest part of our line items, like when you break it down. And it also in the function chart, it's not the biggest part of the job. So we really want to focus on, okay, if you want salary increases, like what are you doing? What are you learning? What are you increasing on? It gives them the ability to kind of have ownership in that and show us improvement in a path as well. So it's really great to be open and honest with them and kind of have that open conversation.
And I think every single person works better when they don't feel like they're in the dark. Our clients have the worst experience when they feel like they don't know what's going on, right? And that just across the board, I think the more transparent that we can be, the more success and the more engagement and ownership our clients have, but our team has as well. And I think that just helps to be a successful firm.
It's interesting too, because you're like, here's the map for the client, and I may need to bring you back to your why. Here's the map for the team and the firm, and I may need to bring you back to your why. I like that. I mean, we do the same thing. I just haven't thought about it that way.
Yeah, of course. And sometimes, our road is literally just straight. I mean, it's a curve, right? And there's
Sometimes
like
it's
A
chaotic
to
mess.
Z. But sometimes some clients, we're doing a lap around again, like
100%. We've come full circle.
we actually have one project right now where we're like, we got to Z and now we're starting again at A, because, well, we could quite not all the way to Z, but
M, you're
having
with
to
the M.
explain, hey, because of what you said here, we're now back to square one.
Yeah. Well, that's not fun either.
Yeah, we've definitely been there. Well, I'm really curious because so we're a larger team and there's 15 of us. But when you were putting together your map, what were the gaps that you were finding as a team of 6?
I think so. Definitely, it was operations.
Yeah.
Was one of the big ones. The other thing is just office kind of admin, bookkeeping, kind of part of that. Do we incorporate that? Have someone in? But then you start trying to figure out how do you find that unicorn person that can answer phones and order the snacks, and then also input bookkeeping, which is like, for me, the number one has to be correct. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business, and you don't know where you can go. So
I can't buy anything without him knowing.
No.
Never.
But I never say no. So
And I say that to Melissa too. I'm like, you see every single thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
For better or for worse.
but what's really necessary, which is not the best way to look at it. But somebody's
I'm like, hey,
right?
going to London and Paris is totally necessary. What do you mean?
It's research.
It's a write-off, sister.
Yeah, it's a write-off. It's write-up. Just write it off.
Yeah.
And you're like, but we're still spending money.
Yeah,
I'm writing it off, but you understand how that, my husband, you understand how that works. I'm like, yes, kind of.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, I think that's kind of where you start seeing these holes. The difficult part is when you're a small business, you can't have one person for one role necessarily, right? At least for us specifically. And I think also part of it is giving up that control for me. Like for me, I hate invoicing. I use your quadrant all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
Yay! I love that.
You really do.
And I tell people,
I
tell people about it everybody. Do your quadrant, and why are you hiring somebody for the stuff you like to do?
So Mike is talking about our Find Your Best Focus quadrant, which is where you map out what you love to do and what you are good at, and what you hate to do and what you're not good at. Then you fire yourself from the stuff you hate doing.
Yeah.
Best.
Exactly.
It did. But then it's like, wait, am I not supposed to be here? I'm just joking. I'm totally joking.
I should not be doing these things.
And it really tells you, like, why am I doing these things? I'm good at it, but I don't like it, right? That's the other one where you're kind of in between. But I don't need to be punching in numbers on QuickBooks or Studio or whichever program people are using. I can hire somebody else to do that who's way faster, way more accurate, and categorizes it better so that I can actually have a conversation with them at the end of the year to be like, where do we want to head? So,
and some people actually like it.
That's what I was going to say. They like that.
Yeah. I mean, I like the analytical part of it and talking with somebody about, here's my numbers, here's where I want to go. How do I get there? That's what I love.
Yes.
He loves Excel. I mean, gosh.
I do too.
I've opened it one time.
I also love Excel.
Part, but I do not love tick, 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 tick. So, and I'm not good at it either. You're like, it's like I put in one thing and then somebody distracts me and it's like all going. And then, a few months later, you're 2 weeks behind on invoicing. So I think it's really about knowing your strengths, working on your strengths, and hiring out your weaknesses. That's what I tell people all the time,
But we are really thoughtful when we want to bring someone on. And I think that, we take it very serious that, we are supporting their lifestyle, right? But it really is, we don't want to overhire just to have someone do a task that we might not have enough work for them to do, right? So it is kind of a nice balance of knowing when you need to hire and when you shouldn't hire.
Yeah. And I
That's
think
a
the
hard thing
process
to
of,
know, right?
yeah. And the process of hiring for us has changed. Honestly, one of our first hires was recommended to us. And we kind of like said, "Hey, how's it going?" And we were like, "Great, you're great. Come on in." And luckily it was amazing. She absorbed, she was talented to begin with. Like, we were super lucky to have her. And just grew with us. There was a click with her and a moment that we had, and it just like blew up from there, and is great. But that's not what happens every single time. And so we have a new process now of just reading people. It's a lot more automated, so I don't have to email 47 people, thank you for applying, and here's a link for my, here's when I'm available. We've automated a lot of that. I do a 15-minute phone conversation before we even go into an interview, just to kind of check their references, see if they're using ChatGPT to answer all my questions, with 99% of them do. And then from there, we actually do a in-person interview if at all possible. And then even after that, if we have to break it down even further.
But always do an in-person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even so, I think when you're interviewing the person, it's about diving deeper into the question when you ask something, and then you go, okay, tell me more about that. Tell me about a specific example in which you were using that moment, or that characteristic, or that skill that, helped you get through it, or, and go dive into that deeper. And as they go deeper and deeper, one, it's not so superficial. Two, you start really finding out, were they frustrated? How did they get through frustration? Were they feeling supported? Were they not?
Asking the question a different way each time to see how they respond, I think is kind of important.
And that's where you get into, are they a fit?
Yeah.
There are hundreds of thousands of many talented designers out there. And in our firm, we have a certain morale, a certain
je ne sais quoi.
Kind of like environment, right? Like, you've seen me, I've danced, I joke. I stand on one leg in a pair of heels.
Yeah.
I mean, we're two men that are married.
Yeah.
Some people are okay with that, some people aren't. I mean, it's all of these things that come together that you really have to dive into those questions to see their reactions and see how they react, or how they feel about their last job. Is this going to be right for you? Because for us, it's at least 6 months just to get them kind of into it.
And up to speed. I mean, it's a 6 month to a year investment of just understanding.
Point.
Yeah.
And I think so many designers that are hiring or just starting to grow their teams may not know that. It took me forever to realize, like, oh, that person's not ramped up after 90 days. A senior designer? What? No. Yeah. They may need to go full circle through a whole project, start to finish, before they fully grasp your entire process.
Yeah.
And get up to speed with your client book and your projects.
Yeah, exactly.
We're implementing a new thing now to where once a week, I'll sit down and show them my process of how I like a certain thing done. And then once a week, we will have a conversation of you bringing to the table something that maybe you don't understand, and how we can kind of workshop a better way that could enhance how we do something. So it's opening a conversation of what we could do, but then also really showing them, hey, let's break this one little minute thing in the business down and show you how maybe I would approach it. Because everyone has their own process. And I think that as long as we're still developing a structure that we've established, it's okay to have them have their own process to achieve that, and not controlling that situation. And so I'm in recovery for that.
You're in micromanager recovery?
Well, it's not about being a micromanager. It's about us having, I went from a big firm to where, someone handled procurement, someone handled project management.
It's like siloed.
Yeah, it was
200 people on this firm.
Yeah. So
wow. Yeah, that's huge.
So I thought I knew everything about the business. and we started our company, and we quickly realized we didn't know shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we still don't. We're constantly in a quest of learning and understanding and honing it, right?
And the moment you learn, something else pops up.
And so that's why my biggest advice always is a lot of people are graduating from college and starting their own business. And I think that's the biggest mistake ever, right? But
I agree.
Besides that point, it's really understanding what people are doing and then how to do it. And so, we sit down all the time, and I was by myself for so long working and doing projects that now that we're slowly bringing in a bigger team and our team is growing, I'm having to figure out how to shift my mentality too, right? Understanding, okay, I can't do all of this. I can't just take over and not be able to explain it. So our process is maybe a little bit longer now because I'm sitting in and really trying to help you achieve and understand my head and how I approach things. And I'm relinquishing control and letting you know that, hey, at the end of the day, I have your back, right? Yep. Nothing that goes out this door is never not looked by us.
Yeah.
Even if I make a mistake and don't catch something and then we have to eat a cost, that's still me. And I fully own that. So just know that moving forward. And I feel like we've had some issues before where, we potentially had to eat some costs because of a mistake that I didn't catch going out. And our team was like devastated by it. But there was this weird, interesting, amazing shift that they were like, oh, you really do have my back on something. And then I can push myself to be better and kind of take chances a little bit more and build a, maybe think outside the box even more. Yeah. And I love that shift in an employee when they get it. They get it. They understand that trust that they have with you. And then for me, they kind of just soar, which I love.
Yeah. It's the same with a client. When they get it, like you're not trying to just spend their money, you're trying to change the way they live in their home for the better. And they get to that point and there's a click, and all of a sudden you could suggest a cashmere rug that takes 2 years and is super expensive, and they're like, done. It's going to change my life.
I trust you.
I need it. You tell me I need it, but you have to get there, right? They don't just trust you like that. And I think that you get there with the process, with the thought, the care, the guidance, all of those things. And when all of those things are in sync and perfect and running together, then the opportunity to click.
You have to embrace it when it's in sync and perfect.
Yeah.
If you
it's not always perfect.
Yeah.
It's not always perfect. But one thing that we
embrace that one moment.
Yeah.
One thing we learned from our mentorship with Toyota Lexus is you celebrate the failures, because those failures are what's going to launch a successful or just a different perspective on the approach. Yeah. And so for us, we really do sit down and say, okay, why wasn't this successful? What can we do better? What suggestions do you think we could have done better? And let's all brainstorm it. We do a lot of just yellow Post-it notes, and people write stuff down and we pin it on the glass partition and really move them around and have conversation with those all the time to figure out how we can just be better.
I love that idea. Yeah, Melissa's all about sunshining mistakes.
I'm all about I don't think anything can teach you like a mistake can teach you.
And it's not about public shame. It's about
no. I mean, I will mention it publicly because I think,
but it's not for shaming someone.
Yeah. No, but I think it is important for all of us. I mean, we are a team, and I mean, I think one mistake that we're here to support also, I think too, and understand that, okay, that mistake didn't make or break us, right? Like we can move forward. And one thing that really got me thinking was, as you were talking, so we're really process driven, like we really adhere to a process. But I think that when you know that a person like really gets it, when they can critically think and they can go outside of the process, think for themselves and make it better. And I think that sharing those mistakes has been one of the ways where we were to realize, okay, well, maybe we should have been thinking about this in a completely different way. And sharing it is the only way that we're able to do that.
Yeah.
I like the Post-it
absolutely.
note.
But
Yeah.
we do want to talk about bettering the process because we are a strong believer that we have worked really hard for this, and we tell every potential client the minute we deviate from our process, it becomes a failure. So it helps us to really understand the red flags. If a client's asking us to do something that, you know, is not part of our process, then we're like, I don't think we're the right fit for you, because we can make some accommodations, but if we're not following this roadmap that we've achieved, it's not going to be very successful.
Yeah.
And I tell them to their face, I say, you're gonna ask for this. I'm gonna give in. It's not the way I normally work, so it's gonna look like I not know what I'm doing, even though I do. And then you're gonna be like, why did I hire this guy? He doesn't know what he's doing. And then
it's your fault, client.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
that's why we do not do that's why we do
That's not
not
what I
give
said.
discounts.
Like, I just want to be like, it's just not a good fit. So like, if you like our process, let's do it.
Our most successful projects follow our process.
Yeah.
End of story.
100%.
That is it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to ask you though, like when you put your foot down like that for a client, how many of them are like, oh, okay, I respect that, and how many of them are like,
well,
the ones that stay are the ones that I'm just kidding.
We have found that in our industry, when we say we have found, it's about me. I'm talking about me, but we all care so much about, you know, what we're doing, right? And I feel like interior designers are kind of yes people, and we want to comfort them. We want to show them, you know, we want to help them. And I think that sometimes people get to be pushovers because of that, right? And what I have found is there's a reason why seasoned designers have a little bit more of a callus than a new designer, right? And it's because of the fact that they've gone through all of that. And I feel like we are at the state in our career where if it's not our way, we have to really, we call it waterboarding them.
Okay.
I was going to say, we just no longer put up with the bullshit because
that's what I mean. It's like, if we're not black and white and put our foot down and say, this is our process, this is how we work, and if you don't want to work this way, we're not the right firm for you, people have more respect.
Yeah.
And they feel like they almost trust us, and they trust our ability to guide them more than us saying, well, you know, I would, you know,
maybe
honestly,
we can do it that way.
Yeah. Honestly, in the end, it's just better for them. That's why we do it. We don't do it because it's how we work and that we're, you know, sticklers, rigid or anything. It's like, no, this is the best way for you to have a good experience.
Help me help you.
Help me help you. Exactly. Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
And then that's why you just have to be like,
okay, y'all, we are coming up on time, but I want to know what's next for you. What's on the horizon? Because you guys have come a long way.
Yeah.
What's next?
We have some really good projects, but one thing, I think this is coming out right after the announcement. So little sneaky peeky for you guys. We are going to be a part of 2025 Kips Bay Show House, Decorator Show House in Dallas, Texas.
Very excited.
Congratulations.
We are super excited. We have a wonderful space.
We're very excited.
Yeah. Bryan's come up with a crazy, as always, plan that I'm just like, I can't say no, and I'm going to build it. So we're just really excited. If you two specifically can make it out, love for you to see.
Sounds amazing.
See your new office. But also the show house is great. It
opens up November the 7th, and it will be going until the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which I don't know that date.
Yeah.
But
when do you get your hands on the space to actually transform it?
we already have.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. They've given you more time than usual.
No.
Yeah.
10 weeks.
Yeah, we have
10 weeks. Okay,
10
yeah, that's
weeks,
fast.
So,
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun.
yeah.
I'm sure it's going to
Good.
be
Can't wait to see
amazing.
it.
Yeah, so we're pumped about it. It'll be a fun experience, and there's a lot of great designers that are part of it this year. So,
Yeah,
Awesome.
so we're really excited. It's a great organization, gives back a ton of money for the kids up in the Bronx, and
as
as well as
some of the locals,
Yeah.
Dallas.
the Crystal Charity Ball and
Dwell with
Dwell with
Dignity.
Dignity. So here in Texas.
Amazing,
So
guys.
we're really excited. We've been sitting on the alumni committee for the past couple of years. We've been involved a bunch, and we just love the organization. So we're really excited to be a part of it and designing again this year.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you in November then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of doing our house, we're doing this one.
I mean, you have to have your own project at all times.
Yes.
So this is probably better for everyone.
Yeah.
That
It
it's
is.
not
It's
like
fun.
tearing apart your own home.
It's kind of a fun experience with the team too. You know, we don't have a client.
I know.
So there is a fun just morale that
crazy.
we sit down with the team and we're working towards creating something that, you know, no one's really saying no to.
Yeah.
But
But also working with our vendors, working with our team, working with the organization. I want to program the space. You know, I want to get people through the door to see amazing design, but also through the door to support a great organization.
Yeah.
I think for us, it's always about the why, and the why we do this part is to give back, and we give back through amazing design. So more and more people come through that door.
yeah, people don't pay us enough not to have fun. So that's where we're constantly having fun.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah. The
Well,
trade-off.
we really appreciate you guys joining us today and can't wait to see you in person in November. And if our listeners want to find you on the interwebs, where are they going?
So you can find us on Instagram at Yates Desygn, and design spelled with a Y, DESYGN. And then
YatesDesign.com.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
reach
you
out.
so much.
Yeah, so much.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast, coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on design-.com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.